Being sustainable in construction is no easy task. It requires a great deal of collaboration, willingness to change, and funding to make it achievable. Many companies within the sector are fully committed to cutting down on carbon emissions, reducing waste, and maintaining a circular economy. As the sector struggles with the after effects of Brexit and the COVID-19 pandemic, many issues such as inflation, a rise in costs, and skill shortages come to the forefront.
Farrat is a specialist in the design and manufacture of vibration control, building acoustics, thermal isolation, and precision levelling solutions for the construction and industrial sectors.
The UK needs more investment. If you think back to the new Labour days of this huge new building schools for the future, there was this huge programme to build schools, build hospitals. And really in the last 10 years, it's been very much a lull. There's been 10 years of boom. That's been private sector boom. There hasn't really been public sector investment. And across the company, it needs infrastructure. You can see, look at HS2, that's infrastructure, but it was so slow to manifest itself, over-ambitious, has ended up just costing too much and not really providing anything. Fundamentally, the country needs the infrastructure.
Lawrie Tubulars is a leading specialist in the supply of new and repurposed steel tubulars for construction and structural piling clients.
So Lawrie Tubulars is, we class as a one-stop shop in the supply of steel tubulars to the construction industry in the UK. We've now built the business over the years to incorporate a CNC machine shop and a drill rod shop, and also fabrication. And on top of that, where we originally came from was holding stock. I think I'm optimistic about the future of the UK industry. I feel for it, we should be supporting each other, and I think more and more people are getting bought into that. To build an economy, you've got to have a good business sector. So if you let your industrial sector and construction sector drop off, your economy is going to drop off with it.
Building Business Improvement Services, or BBI Services, is a consultancy specialising in the development and delivery of improved organisational and project performance, helping clients reduce both risks and costs.
So when it comes to helping businesses realise their full potential, it's all about helping them see the opportunity that's in front of them. So we get teams across the end-to-end processes, collectively seeing the key issues that are impacting their performance and working together to actually resolve the issues, expose the problems honestly, get around it, collaborate, and ultimately get in the groove to improve.
So the current state of the construction industry is that we have a high degree of underperformance. Productivity has flatlined or has small incremental growth. The programs are delayed more often than not. We have high quality defect rates, and that puts pressure on the costs that we have for the business, for the margins that contractors make, and for the clients getting return on investment or value for money. So within construction as a sector, there's not enough equipment, people or materials to deliver what we want. So we have to become more productive and more sustainable in doing that.
One of the main issues UK industry faces is a rise in costs and a lack of investment.
Cost pressures have increased within the sector, and finding resources, skilled resources, are becoming more scarce. So the challenge to be more productive, more efficient and more effective has never been greater than it has been now. Construction productivity has flatlined when compared to other sectors. They have seen significant and steady growth, whereas in the construction sector there's huge opportunities for significant step changes in performance. The budgets that are available for projects, whether that's private sector budgets or public government spend, are compressed and tighter than they've ever been. So our drive for performance improvement is greater now than it has ever been. So at BBI Services, we help our clients work within the sustainability legislation and the complex requirements by working across our team and everything that we see and deploying that into those businesses and projects and programs.
We've not had much support, partly because having experience in the past, we thought we just need to do this ourselves, we need to get on with it. But we're quite experienced in international trade, we sort of understand it. But if I would be looking at another company that didn't have that amount of experience, I would say I'd struggle to see exactly how the government is currently helping. They need to do more. The whole thing about Britain being Great Britain and being a great exporter, that's only great if that's really happening. And it's not just based off the big macro companies. We need the SMEs to become internationally competitive. Something's got to change. It just seems like we're in a malaise at the moment, but it might get the feeling, unless there's wild promises that are given out before the election, because that's maybe what it needs is something irrational, but to actually just get things moving. Or we'll see what happens after the election as to whichever government has a mandate, and they try and get on with something. The industry's holding back from spending the money.
For our own economy, it's really very important, because money kept in the UK is way better than putting money out of the UK to foreign, whether it be European or further afield companies. It keeps us greener. You're not shipping stuff from the other side of the world, whether it be in containers or whatever way you're doing it. You're maybe sending it down the road a couple of 100 miles. So there's a win-win there, and the economy is really important. Over the last 3 years since COVID, we all understand what the country's gone through, from cost of living crises. And I think as a business, we've got to look to try and help our economy by help employment and keeping money here by buying British.
We see our clients having increased focus on their environmental responsibilities and their reporting requirements, as well as some companies wanting to go beyond reporting requirements. And I think that's where our life cycle analysis has really helped them, and it allows them to maybe make that environmental decision up front rather than just a commercial decision.
The government should not only invest in making the UK a sustainable country, but must also promote locally manufactured products.
What could the government do to build public and private sector? From a private sector perspective, the legislation at the moment, the environment is holding the industry back. The industry has the money it wants to invest, allow it to build. That's not happening. And a public sector, they need to invest. They need to build the infrastructure. They need to build the schools. They need to build the hospital. The people need it. That's absolutely clear. They have to find a way to do it. I think sitting here in Manchester, looking what Andy Burnham is doing, I think is really something to be celebrated. What it's doing is looking as a city environment, linking up the transport network to allow people to travel around much more freely and easily, and then also linking up the education sector to then link the education system is designed to make the people that are educated become more employable and linked together. I think it's really fantastic, and it really shows that sort of joined up approach to it, with it all backed up by a long-term vision.
So from our perspective, what the government can do to boost performance and growth in the sector is to really establish what great looks like, become that really truly informed client, and really engage with the delivery teams to form those high-performing teams to drive performance. So it's key for the government to move to a stage of procuring on value, not on price. So they're getting the best value for money, the best teams, and we can drive the best performance out of those programs. Most
businesses are generating some profit, small and large, and some of that needs to be reinvested in making us a greener country. That's what the government wants. That's what governments throughout the world are wanting. I think Britain are probably leading the way in it, and a majority of things we're doing. We're selling a sustainable product, so we need to be looking at being sustainable ourselves as well. And there's all sorts of different ways we can look at it. Some cost money, some come for nothing. Because we manufacture drill rods and make drill rods, we're now made in Britain accredited. And that's a really important thing for me personally, and I think every business in Britain should look at it that way, that we've got to look after our own economy, and we need to be investing in and buying products from British companies and working with each other rather than going abroad and going further afield to buy cheap products that are maybe of inferior quality.
The issue of waste is one present across many industries, and construction is no different. The industry should continue embracing sustainability, cut down on unnecessary waste, and in turn, reduce its carbon emissions. For example, the use of traditional concrete in buildings is controversial, as cement, concrete's main element, releases an unprecedented amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere during production.
Lawrie Tubulars and sustainability kind of come hand in hand, being that the product we're selling is a very green product. Being that we're repurposing the steel from its original use, we're saving the construction companies buying new steel from a mill. And in 2020, we got a life cycle analysis done in the business, because it was really quite interesting for us to look at this, because we knew our steel was green, but how green was our steel? We didn't know that. So we employed a third party to do a life cycle analysis of our business, which looked at everything from where we take the material from, how we get it to our yard, how many miles it travels to go to sites, how much gas we use in the yard, how much diesel we use in the yard. And it took us about a 6 months process to get all the information they needed, then calculate against what new steel costs. And Our LCA results were absolutely fantastic. There was a 97.2% CO2 saving compared to buying new steel. We did a job for a client back in 2018 where they requested brand new pipe was going to cost them millions of pounds. Not only did they save millions of pounds by buying repurposed pipe from us, because obviously it's cheaper than buying brand new steel from mill, they also saved over 8,000 or 9,000 tonnes of CO2 they saved by buying our pipes over buying brand new pipes.
We've got a well-documented path to net zero and sustainability, and I think everyone is focused on doing their bit to meet that need, and I think that's going to be the big focus in the immediate future for the industry. We are always developing our processes, our inspection processes, our cleaning processes, and all of our other processes to ensure that we can reuse as much product as possible.
It's going to be a really interesting few years within the construction sector, because the biggest part being this is the sustainability agenda. Now it's all talk. It's how to see how that really manifests itself. Because a bit like with transport and home heating systems, the existing systems are still cheaper. So there has to be this shift of either a willingness to accept to spend more money on it. Could be government subsidies that will be helping support that to bridge that gap. But that can only go on for so long. We can't have the whole industry dependent on government support forever. There's got to be some balance between the two. It is exciting. What's good is it's from the construction industry, it is basing what it's doing broadly on good engineering based work. What we're all then dependent on, hopeful for, is that does turn into real change, because it does require change.
ISO 9001, which is the basic business quality standard to ensure that you have all the right procedures in place, all the right processes in place to ensure that the quality of not only the products but the information you provide to customers. And a lot of our business is about information and design, so that is part of that ISO 9001 adherence, if for want of a better way of putting it.
So we acknowledge the impact of the construction sector on the environment. So the construction sector is responsible for 50% of landfill waste and 40% of water pollution. It's important to us that our clients are sustainable, because that helps drive a sustainable future for both us and our clients. It enables us to work in a sustainable way and them to develop as an organisation. So we look to eliminate waste in all areas of an organisation. This could be the waste of people, this could be the waste of resources, this could be the waste of materials and equipment. We're always looking to integrate together within the teams as well, so that we're embedded within the client's workforce. We also look to improve our own sustainability, and that's been through calculating our carbon footprint and looking at how we can reduce it. That's making some of our own choices, so choosing to work digitally with some clients rather than travel to and from meetings, but also selecting things such as environmentally friendly hotels and working at venues like we are today, the Coventry Building Society Arena.
In recent years, there has been a rapid shift in the use of artificial intelligence within all industries, including construction and manufacturing. The use of AI has a range of benefits, such as improving efficiency and eliminating human error.
So new technologies that we're seeing within the sector include that performance, data-driven capability to capture the data and act upon it. We're looking at platform and generative designs to actually get the consistency across programs. AI can be used within the sector. Like everywhere else, it's proving it has a particular use as long as it's combined with our people factors and how people are actually using it.
It's important because you can't stand still. You've always got to be looking forward. How do you make something better? How do you make something cheaper without sort of destroying the quality of the product? Especially in the machine shops, where the machines become older, they become slower. There's new technologies come through where they make a machine faster, they can make a machine greener, and that's where you've got to always keep pushing. It's strange because the tips and tooling that you use in threading and milling, they bring out more and more sustainable tips, so you're actually using less tooling, you're using less carbon to manufacture that tooling. So it's always pushing forward to see how can you do it better, how can you do it faster.
As the industry's thought come from purely commercial to a mix of maybe commercially and environmentally focused, together with technology advancements, I think the industry will find a way not to sacrifice on quality or price, but be able to do things in a more environmental way.
How will technology influence what we're doing in the future? We continue to adapt more to within the world of BIM, so that we're integrating better with the design teams and being able to understand how the building works, and then make sure when our products have been designed, they can be put into the structure, and then we can work out all the clashes and exactly how it will fit and how it will look. The whole industry has still got an awful lot more to do on that, to the ultimate dreams of BIM Level 3. AI and this, as ever, it comes back to the analysis of data, is critical of that. So when you're taking vibration measurements, you get a colossal amount of data, but the answer comes out of the interpretation of the data. There's certainly more we can do with that one. That's where we're looking to then link with universities and work with how we can solve the problems of the future. Will require the knowledge from the future, which is what's coming through the universities. So again, Manchester, we're in a good position. We have really good relationships with Salford University. We've got a number of KTPs and research projects working with them. We've done work with Manchester University and others around. So we're blessed with that one, and we absolutely intend to make the most and grow that opportunity. I've been heavily involved in my own personal project. One of the ones was where we isolated a 30-story tower from the Victoria line in London. What was nice was we took a concept we'd used on a 8-story building and scaled it up. The scalability worked, but of course the challenge became much greater. But we were able to use the knowledge that we did and the products that we developed, and then tune them rather than start from scratch.
Safety within any industry is paramount. Staff should know how to properly use equipment to ensure both theirs and others' safety. However, training employees not only refers to safety in handling equipment, but also the development of communication skills, knowledge, and so much more.
We do carry out training as well, in-house and external. We do have external testing carried out on welds. We can bring sort of non-coded welders in and get them coded up to the standards we want to.
We ensure to deliver best practice within the sector by drawing on our years of experience across other sectors, the team of people that we have, and the best practices that we've developed for the construction sector. And we ensure the best practice through the development of the people and the teams within the businesses and projects that we work.
We're always looking at streamlining processes and optimising the resources, those resources being people, energy, materials and equipment. So everything that we do starts with people. Without those people working in the right direction, even the best processes will fail. So we develop the individual, we grow the team, and we focus on the task.
So the positive changes that we're seeing in the sector is that leadership attitude towards those transformational changes that are needed in performance and what it needs to take to get to what great looks like. What is needed within the construction sector is a concerted effort for all the stakeholders to get involved, early engagement, integrated project teams, and a focus on real value.
From an operational point of view, obviously we are very keen on training. We have 3 apprentices at the moment going through our factory and obviously going to college once a week. That is critical to us. We do an awful lot of outreach work with the local schools as well and local colleges, but that's external. Internal, we are sort of very keen to always learn, as we like to say, and train our teams in all sorts of different areas. So, everything from health and safety and first aid, all the way through to specific engineering or specific program language, whether it be, in SAP, which is our MRP system, our sort of whole company system that we use for our finance, our materials, our production, our sales invoicing and everything else. So we'll train people in that, all the way through to, training in project management or training in, continuous improvement.
Typical production induction process can go anything from 2 months to 6 months, depending on what department they work in. If you're in the waterjet department, it can take anything up to 4 or 5 months to get fully trained. We have a banding system, so most operators come in at a level 2 and can go all the way up to level 5. So level 2 being basic skills, level 5 being skilled in all departments. Part of the induction is a thing called My Mission, which is a career pathway. So we use that to develop our operatives to say, right, you've come in at this level. To get to level 5, we need to do X, Y, and Z in each department. I've only been doing this past 2-3 years. I'm a STEM ambassador. I like everything about passing on my knowledge. So I've been there. I'm not finished yet, but it means I like to bring the new young crop of players coming through, the new young lads and girls, passing on my knowledge so they can have a career in engineering, not just at Farrat, but in engineering as a whole. I also do a fair bit with schools, local schools, and STEM activity with them to encourage people to go into engineering.
Clients naturally have many expectations, especially when it comes to sustainability and the quality of services. Through offering expert advice and quality services, companies help clients achieve their goals in their own projects.
As a company, you've got to be showing that you're willing to be green, which we are. And we're showing that by the investment we're making in machines and men and trying to use products over and over and over again, even when there is a higher cost to us. We've got to show that we're green and that we're willing to invest in being a greener business going forward. And that's what Lawrie Tubulars' goal is, hence investing in a cap crusher, investing in employing people, and spending a lot of money in drainage and interceptors and all that kind of stuff to make sure that the water that even leaves our site's absolutely clean.
We help our clients always improve return on investment, and we do that by helping them deploy the appropriate practices in the very best way possible. And ultimately, the best way to kind of simplify that is we help construction teams pass the ball with precision. Helping businesses realise their true potential is all about helping them see what's in front, where's the opportunity. So getting teams together and collectively all having a view so that they can see all the key issues that are impacting their performance, making it real, making it visual, and helping people all engage in the art of the possible to then boost their performance. We set our teams a path so that they're able to challenge and identify the frustrations and look for a new way of working. We utilise a learn by doing approach, which enables people to gain the knowledge, practice in a safe environment, but then also to deploy once they're comfortable. So we engage with our teams in the most cost-effective and sustainable way. That may be a digital solution, it may be working remotely, or it may just be working with a better environment.
Clients' needs are constantly changing. What they need one day may be different from the next, so companies must always be ready to evolve with their clients' needs.
Our clients' needs are evolving. They are actually being more engaged and wanting to be more informed about the construction process, what they're buying, and how they can support the delivery of those projects. So we're driving sustainability through the early engagement of teams across design, procurement and delivery, and creating those high-performing integrated project teams. Within construction, we help our clients develop strategies and practical actions to achieve the legislative requirements by keeping it simple and breaking it down into manageable chunks so we can actually come up with that holistic improvement plan. So within BBI Services, we use a lot of sports analogies, and that's why we're here today at Coventry Building Society Arena. They've driven their sustainability performance up by 23% reduction in their carbon footprint. So we're influencing the sustainability through that early engagement of teams, through the procuring for value and procuring for success, designing the buildings in the correct way or the infrastructure that we want. So we're then driving the whole performance from the whole life cycle of a project.
No client has the same need for a standard product. So when we speak to clients, we try to understand the application that they're trying to achieve and how we can best fit that within our manufacturing and fabrication facilities.
So we've got quite a few case studies. Also on John Lawrie's website, you can see them, but we did the Teca building just in Aberdeen, which is the new state-of-the-art exhibition conference centre. And we supplied 22,000 metres of steel to that job. We don't install it, we just supply the product, but it's obviously a green product. And so that steel went just literally 40 minutes drive from here. It came from the North Sea originally. So it's been in Aberdeen, got offshore in Aberdeen. It's come back on shore, come to us. We've done our inspection, done our cleaning. We've done what we need to do to it.
Our ultimate aim is to provide what the customer wants, which is easy to say. We're very proud of the fact that the high quality of what we produce. But that doesn't mean to say that what we're trying to produce is a Rolls Royce. It's the fact what we need to do, and this is where the engineering comes in, is provide what they need. So it provides the level of performance that they're looking for. Not massively overspec'd. The value comes in how do we make sure that it performs as intended. The Viva Studios Manchester is a really good example of how we contributed to creating a absolutely world-class building that can provide an amazing entertainment space, but multi-purpose. So where we are, we're in the city, so we've got noise coming into the building, we don't want to disturb that. The idea is that in the warehouse, they can have a rock concert, they close the door to the hall, which is the theatre concert hall space, and they can have a pianist. Or at the same time, it's that provide that multi-purpose part of it.
Looking to the future, the construction industry will continue its growth, albeit slowly. Some things to look forward to are how new technologies take shape within the industry, what role the government will play going forward, and how much of an impact sustainability will have.